People who import and sell K-pots in Singapore are set to face jail and caning. They come under harsher penalties to kick in from next week as the country intensifies its crackdown on vapes laced with illicit drugs such as etomidate. Etomidate and other similar substances will be listed as Class C controlled drugs for 6 months under the Misuse of Drugs Act.
In these 6 months, listing it under Class C allows us to immediately take a variety of these steps. Enforcement, increase the penalties. And of course, enforcement posture is a matter of policy, but the law now will give us the power. Then in 6 months, February or so, MOH will come in with a new suite of powers which are crafted to deal with this problem effectively. So this, as you can see, is a transition period.
Those caught vaping for the first time will get higher composition fines of up to 700 Singapore dollars. Second-time offenders will be sent for rehabilitation. And those caught a third time or more, prosecution and a maximum fine of 2,000 Singapore dollars. Today, vape users are fined up to 500 Singapore dollars. Similarly, for abusers of K-pots, those caught for the first time will face a higher fine of up to $700 and rehabilitation for up to 6 months. For a second offence, they'll be placed under mandatory supervision, and this includes drug testing. If caught a third time, users aged 16 and above will be sent to the Drug Rehabilitation Centre. Currently, offenders are fined up to 500 Singapore dollars in most cases. Plus, harsher penalties for those importing K-pots. They face up to 20 years jail and 15 strokes of the cane. Those caught selling such vapes with etomidate face up to 10 years jail and 5 strokes of the cane.
Today, we are effecting all this with a patchwork of legislation. But it is a model that we believe, after some discussion, we believe it will work. So, next 6 months will be about operating this model, fine-tuning it, making sure that it's effective. And when it's effective, it gives us the confidence that 6 months, next few months, when we set up a new legislation, it will give us powers to implement all this.
The Singapore government says it is necessary to take a tougher stance against vaping to protect youngsters from having their future destroyed by addiction. That is, as vaping devices have now become a delivery device for illegal substances and a gateway to drug abuse. Jeraldine tells us more.
Smoking and drug abuse were once seen by some as separate behaviours by different groups of people. But Health Minister Ong Ye Kung says the advent of vaping in recent years has changed the landscape. This is why the government needs to harden its approach towards the use of vapes.
Vapes have become a delivery device, and then the two behaviours become mixed up. And vapes become a gateway for very serious substance abuse. So we're facing a very different situation now. So there are many people, especially the young, they pick up vaping thinking that it's all right, it's not as harmful as cigarettes. And then our curiosity, our coercion, or out of just ignorance, they wandered into substance abuse, which is what we are seeing now for etomidate.
It was always an offense having vaporizers, and regardless of whether it's etomidate. But we've noticed an increase in abuse. So it's a very different stance now, because it's not yet a problem that's out of control, but we see it as an increasing problem, and we don't want to wait until it goes out of control. So we move in early.
Mr. Ong says that among vape users in Singapore, about a third are under the age of 18 and more than half are under 30. As for those using vapes laced with etomidate, 8 in 10 are under 30. The younger profile of these abusers, Mr. Ong says, sets them apart from hardcore drug abusers, and it suggests that they might be ignorant about the harmful effects. Now, this means that they might be more open to giving the habit up. The government first announced in July that it planned to list etomidate as a Class C controlled drug under the Misuse of Drugs Act. Mr. Ong believes this has contributed to a drop in the number of etomidate-laced vapes found among devices seized by the authorities, with more people aware of the harms and severe consequences. But even as authorities ramp up the fight against vaping, it's not just about punishing users, especially youths with a future ahead of them.
Let's protect them from their lives from being destroyed by vapes or etomidate vapes. At the same time, don't inadvertently also destroy a large number of lives because of very tough penalties. Give them that chance. But if they don't seize that chance, tough penalties will still come in.
Mr. Shanmugam says the laws will have to keep up as new drugs emerge.
It's not going to stop at etomidate. It's going to carry on. And there will have to be power to proscribe these new substances as they evolve, and the enforcement will then have to deal with those new substances too. So this is something that's got to be looked at in the new legislation.
The new legislation is expected to be enacted in the first quarter of 2026.